The World Cup is the most watched sporting event on Earth, and the 2026 World Cup will be the largest ever, featuring 48 teams, 104 matches, and 3 host nations: the US, Canada, and Mexico. Mexico will make history as the first nation to ever host or co-host 3 men's World Cups. With that much global demand, it's no surprise the economics behind the World Cup ticketing is incredibly complex. For the first time ever, FIFA is implementing dynamic pricing in the World Cup. Why this pricing model was chosen and what are the economic consequences for fans, markets, and event organizers is still up for debate. What makes the World Cup ticketing market so unique? The FIFA World Cup is the world's premier soccer event, drawing millions of viewers and attendees globally. Unlike regular sports leagues that operate annually or seasonally, the World Cup is every 4 years, making every tournament a rare and highly anticipated spectacle. Each venue, including Seattle's Lumen Field with a seating capacity of approximately 68,000 seats, has a fixed number of seats. This fixed supply, combined with wildly fluctuating and intense demand driven by factors such as team popularity, tournament stage, and local fan enthusiasm, creates a complex challenge for setting ticket prices that are both fair and economically efficient. Demand for World Cup ticketing is unusual for several reasons. Firstly, demand is highly inelastic in the short term. Because the supply is fixed, many fans, especially for higher profile matches, are willing to pay well above face value to secure a seat. Secondly, demand varies substantially by match. Early group stage games featuring less prominent teams typically attract less interest, while knockout rounds or games involving the host nation or marquee players generate intense demand spikes. Thirdly, demand surges as matchups are revealed closer to the event date and fluctuate depending on team performance and star player availability. Seattle, with an enthusiastic fan base and strong tourism appeal, perfectly exemplifies these dynamics. Matches featuring the US or global soccer icons will see massive crowds, while others may struggle to even sell out. So what exactly is dynamic pricing? Dynamic pricing is a strategy where ticket prices fluctuate in real time based on demand, rather than remaining fixed from the outset. Unlike static pricing, where every ticket in a category has the same price regardless of popularity, dynamic pricing aligns ticket costs more closely with consumers' willingness to pay at any given moment. This approach is common in industries like airlines and hotels, and increasingly popular in US sports such as baseball and basketball. For the first time, FIFA is introducing this model into the World Cup, largely inspired by North American sports markets. This method aims to optimize revenue while also adapting to real-time market conditions. For the 2026 World Cup, FIFA is applying dynamic pricing across most tickets sold in North America. Prices will adjust based on several factors: the overall demand for a match, such as games involving the US or stars like Lionel Messi, and the time remaining before the match and how many tickets remain unsold. Importantly, FIFA's approach is not purely algorithmic. Human judgment plays a role in moderating prices to balance market conditions and ensure fairness. Additionally, FIFA operates an official resale platform, offering fans a safe and transparent way to resell their tickets. Prices on this platform will also fluctuate with demand, reflecting market realities. Let's now explore the economic theory that underpins dynamic pricing. At its core, dynamic pricing is a tool for revenue management in contexts where supply is fixed but demand varies. The supply of tickets at venues such as Lumen Field is perfectly inelastic, which means no seats can be added. Demand, however, fluctuates significantly, and a fixed price risks two inefficiencies. Pricing too low leads to lost revenue as fans are willing to pay more, while pricing too high results in unsold seats. Dynamic pricing helps find a market equilibrium that better matches the actual willingness to pay, maximizing total revenue for organizers without leaving seats empty. This pricing strategy also reduces the influences caused by secondary markets, where scalpers resell tickets at inflated prices, capturing profits that would have otherwise gone to the event organizers. Dynamic pricing draws on a microeconomic principle of price elasticity and revenue management for perishable goods, since once a match begins, unsold seats lose all their value. This makes real-time price adjustments critical in maximizing revenue. Importantly, the dynamic pricing model employed by FIFA also addresses the dual challenge of maximizing revenue from high-demand matches while enhancing accessibility for lower-demand games. By lowering prices strategically for less sought-after matches, FIFA can fill stadiums, creating a more vibrant atmosphere and generating additional revenue from concessions and merchandise. This balance is critical to maintaining fan engagement and preserving the cultural significance of the event, while also achieving their financial goals. Consider the supply and demand dynamic specifically in Seattle. The supply curve is vertical, reflecting the fixed 68,000 seats. The demand curve slopes downward, but is very steep owing to the high value fans can place on tickets. For a high demand match, such as USA versus Germany, demand shifts to the right, pushing the equilibrium price upward. Conversely, for a less popular game, demand shifts to the left, suggesting prices should fall if they were flexible. Static pricing can't respond to these shifts, often leading to sold-out games where fans pay more in a secondary market or under-attend matches priced too high. Dynamic pricing introduces a form of price discrimination, charging different prices to consumers based on their willingness to pay. While this can reduce consumer surplus for those who highly value tickets, since they pay more, it can increase accessibility for price-sensitive fans during less popular matches when prices decrease. In Seattle, this means that die-hard fans might pay a premium price for knockout or marquee games, while casual fans and families might access discounted tickets for early-stage matchups, improving the overall attendance and fan experience. The dual effect is critical for balancing revenue maximization with fan inclusivity. From FIFA's perspective, dynamic pricing serves as a sophisticated revenue management tool. It captures revenue from high-demand games by raising prices, while simultaneously using price reductions to fill seats for lower-demand matches. This strategy will also limit the secondary market scalpers' ability to profit excessively by aligning primarily market prices closer to real-time demand. Seattle matches provide a perfect illustration. High-stakes semifinal games involving the US might command steep prices, whereas early group stage games with less popular teams may have discounted tickets to encourage attendance. Resale markets play a critical role in the World Cup ticketing ecosystem. Unregulated secondary markets often inflate prices several times above face value, pricing out many of the fans. FIFA's official resale platform aims to create a transparent and secure marketplace. Although prices will also fluctuate with demand, this platform will reduce the prevalence of shady scalpers. Dynamic pricing at the primary stage of sale helps minimize arbitrage opportunities by better matching prices with demand, benefiting fans looking to buy tickets by reducing exploitative secondary market profits. FIFA divides tickets into categories based on seat location and amenities, with Category 1 including premium seats offering the best views and lower categories providing more affordable options, often farther from the field. Each category is subject to dynamic pricing. For example, Category 1 tickets for a US knockout game in Seattle could be several times more expensive than a Category 3 seat for a group stage match. Moreover, FIFA allocates supporter entry tiers, seats behind the goals, to participating member associations for loyal fans, maintaining some affordability and accessibility within the dynamic pricing framework. Despite its economic rationale, dynamic pricing has provoked significant criticism. Many fans, especially working-class supporters, feel priced out of the World Cup experience. Tickets for the US opener start at $560, with premium seats exceeding $2,700, unprecedented prices for the World Cup. Critics argue that dynamic pricing disproportionately favors wealthier fans, undermining soccer's social and cultural ethos as a unifying sport. Local political figures and fan groups have called for the price caps and quotas to preserve access for traditional supporters. Public petitions and social media campaigns highlight the growing frustration. FIFA faces a difficult balancing act. On one hand, dynamic pricing maximizes revenue, which FIFA claims is reinvested into global soccer development programs. On the other, there's a risk of alienating core fans and creating exclusivity that diminishes the vibrant atmosphere that is integral to the World Cup experience. Transparency and clear communication are essential. FIFA is committed to informing fans about pricing fluctuations and offering promotional discounts for less high-profile matches to keep fans engaged. Seattle's passionate and inclusive soccer community exemplifies this ongoing tension between commercial success and fan loyalty. An important addition to this discussion involves the ethical and regulatory aspects of dynamic pricing at events like the World Cup. Critics argue that dynamic pricing, especially in a monopolistic context like the World Cup, risks commodifying a cultural event and marginalizing less affluent fans, infringing on principles of fairness and community inclusion. European consumer groups and football supporter organizations have called on FIFA to abandon or heavily regulate dynamic pricing, demanding transparent pricing structures and safeguards against price gouging. Some governments have even discussed implementing price controls or capping the resale prices to protect fans from exploitation. This ethical debate highlights the need for sports organizations to balance profit motives with social responsibility, ensuring that dynamic pricing models do not erode the sport's cultural accessibility. Beyond the World Cup itself, this case highlights important microeconomic lessons. It demonstrates how scarce resources, such as fixed stadium seats, can be effectively allocated through price mechanisms. It shows the practical application of price elasticity and market segmentation in a complex and real-world environment. It also reveals ethical complexities in price discrimination, where consideration of fairness must temper pure profit motives. Finally, it underscores the growing importance of business analytics and data-driven forecasting in managing demand and price dynamically in major events. In conclusion, the 2026 FIFA World Cup's introduction of dynamic pricing offers a compelling example of economic theory in practice. By allowing prices to adjust with real-time demand, FIFA aims to maximize revenues during high-demand matches, fill seats during lower-demand games, and curb exploitative resale practices. However, this approach raises critical questions about affordability, fairness, and fan accessibility. Ultimately, the World Cup ticketing market exemplifies how dynamic pricing can effectively allocate scarce resources, but its success depends on balancing economic efficiency with the social values that make the sport truly special.